Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Youth on the Wheels. We are Noah and Hawa, your hosts, and we appreciate you joining the conversation. Hi everyone, welcome back to our second episode on Youth on the Wheels podcast. Yes, we keep the wheels turning and the conversations flowing. I'm here with Noah, co-host.
Hello, hi everyone, welcome to our second episode.
Yeah, and it's Hawa speaking. In the house, we have two awesome guests. Yes, we have a lady, a female, a she, a her, and we have a male, a gentleman, a he, a him, a his. So I am going to introduce them in a bit. We have Pamela Nankunda Kokunda. Her name defines love, like Nankunda.
She prefers to be called Pam Love.
And yeah, she prefers to be called Pam Love. She's just told us her friends call her Love Doctor or Dr. Love. Like, she's everything love. And I'm happy we're having her because the topic for today is love across generations.
I mean, she's giving it away.
I tell you.
And I was also born in the month of love.
Oh, and she was also born in the month of love. Here we are, like love is in
the air.
At the house. And then our other guest is Hans Patrick Mulindwa. Hans is a researcher and a photographer with a bias to conservation, particularly. That's, climate, health, and, things to do with climate change and health. And we are happy to have him in the house. Yes, as the young people. we are well represented today. Yes. I'm going to invite Noah to dive into the questions and we get started. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Hawa. So to kick us off right away, we're going to look at the evolution of love from the traditional to the more modern perspectives. Yeah. And our first question to our dear guests today is how have the concepts of love and relationships shifted across generations? And I'm going to pose this question to Pam Love to kick us off. Yeah, what do you think has evolved?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the invite. Infectious. Thank you for the question. I think first we have to understand what is love. Mm-hmm. We are talking about love, but people interpret it in different ways. Mm-hmm. Like, what is love to you, to me? For me, I think love is any emotion, any feeling that comes with emotions, that comes with feelings, really, like emotions, and then it comes with affection, it comes with care. For me, that is how I define love. And then we have different kinds of love. We have familial, we have erotic or eros, we have platonic, we have self-love. Yeah. So for our listeners, just to give them an idea of what we are talking about, what love is. So when we talk about the evolution of love, we are looking at probably generations, probably decades, centuries, how it was in the past and how it has metamorphosed
that one
into what it is today. Yeah, for me, I think there has been so much change, there has been so much evolution in the love that when we look at like our grandparents, their kind of love came with a different kind of care. It came with a different kind of affection as compared to what we have today,
Could you throw more light on when you say care, when you say affection?
Yes.
What do you mean, our grandparents' time and us this time?
Well, like when I was growing up, I saw my grandfather, Patano. He was, his kind of affection was, it would come in a way of he would wake up in the morning and then he would like wake us up, tell us, go to the kitchen, do this. And then you'd expect your grandmother to be the one to
Do that.
do for you. Then he would tell you, mchara wanje mureka byame. You know, for me, I felt like it was coming off as an affection for the wife. And when he would go to the market, he would carry something for her. And then care is like you take concern for someone. Someone is sick, you're going to be empathetic, feel it, and you're going to actually show it. Right? For me, that is what I understand by care and affection. And then when you look at our generation for today, it is not about giving, it's about taking. We are demanding. We are not even being given these things like, freely as they should come. We are demanding the care. We are demanding the affection. We are literally demanding the love.
We are treating love like it's a must do.
It is, yes.
I just want to ask, who's demanding?
I know, right? I was going to ask who is the
The boys are cornering. Girls, Pamela, are you seeing them?
Because
the demand is coming both ways, by the way. It may come off unnoticed for the men, and then it seems more pronounced for the women, but it is both ways. Let me give you an example. You're going to wake up in the morning. Maybe we are married. And then you're the guy. Then you wake up in the morning. You're like, I'm rushing to work. I mean, we are all working, I'm rushing to work. And you're like, I want to. Like, I would turn and look at you like, you want to be cared for in that way. And I'm like, nigga, fena tukura.
That is how I feel loved. I want you to show me
Exactly,
love.
but you see, you're not receiving it, you're demanding for it. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
But these things were coming off so easily for
The past, the grandparents,
past.
Is that true? Because I
Yes.
think in the past, our grandparents, for example, it was a no-brainer for a woman to wake up and make tea for the husband. He didn't have to demand. It was just there.
Exactly, that is what we are saying. But now,
I need to understand the context of our grandparents. Were our grandmothers at the time working?
Yes,
Did they have to
were.
go to work, or they were
they
tending to
were
the home at
working.
home?
They were working. They were tilling the land.
Yeah, they were.
These
working,
ladies were taking care of kids at home.
Yeah, they were working.
They were
That's the
working.
one, yeah.
It just that the setting is
The
what
domestic
has
work wasn't
changed.
considered work, like work.
But I can assure you that they were working and
They
it would
were.
exhaust them.
That's true.
These ladies would go to the gardens from morning to
Evening
evening.
till the sunsets.
And then they would even come home and have to cook.
Yeah,
These guys were doing harder work than we are doing.
yeah.
So I do not want to overlook it or put it in the same bracket like the people were putting it back in the day. These ladies were working.
Yeah.
They didn't have the time to actually do these luxurious things for our better halves. Anyway, yeah, so for me, that is one way that I feel like it's evolving. The love is evolving.
Is it evolving in a positive way or negative way?
Certainly not.
I want to take you back just a little bit. She mentioned something.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think she mentioned it out loud, but in what she said, it was there. That love was more about actions back then, because the
Affection.
grandfather used to show love by affection, like the way he used to care about them,
That's acts
care
of
about the
service.
wife. It was acts of service.
And even words. Words.
I mean,
Like-
but right now, and I wanted actually to just go to Hans on this one so that he gives us a different perspective,
Yeah.
right? Hans.
I'm going to shock you.
Hans.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the past, it was acts of services, and it was also love. I mean, it was said, right?
Words of
What's,
affirmation.
yeah.
Yes, words of
What
affirmation.
what are we experiencing right now? What are you experiencing in this new generation? Is it
Hans, please hold your thought.
Yeah. Please.
Don't they were doing the affection, the
Yeah.
action bit of it, but they would also throw in words of affirmation. You would go with your wife to a function, and these men were so proud to introduce their wives. Like,
They would
These
be
days they
like,
hide you.
they would even give them names.
You're killing his
eh?
market.
just before he speaks, he has to call the wife here.
Yes, before he speaks, the wife would come and stand next to him.
Yeah.
And they were giving them even very good names.
Nowadays, they be like Nsangayo.
Like, like they would, those were words of affirmation. Those were words of love that they were giving to their partners, And then for me, in my culture, where I come from, you would not even say your husband's name. So that is how we ended up having our grandparents, Omwami, Muchara, because it was respect
And polite.
and politeness than coming up and you're like, Alex.
Yeah.
The last time I did it, my grandmother asked me, he's like, who is Alex? Is he the shamba boy in your garden or what?
Yeah.
So I think those were all words of,
Affirmation.
Hans, you can pick up your thought from
Yeah.
there.
I hope I still remember the question.
Can I repeat the question
Yeah,
for you?
please do.
Yeah, the
I
question
did.
was, in the past, it was words of affirmation and acts of service. They were moving hand in hand. And
Yeah.
right now, what are we experiencing? Because in this new generation, things have, I think, the way I see the world today, things have really changed, right?
Yeah, of course.
So just give us your perspective on that.
Sure. Of course, things change. That's time changes everything. So just like Pamela said, love and everything it encompasses is extremely subjective. It depends from person to person. What you see as love is not what I see as love. Now, to shock you, me, I'm an acts of service person. That is my love language. I'm not so heavy on the words of affirmation, but for me, acts of service, you just find yourself doing them. And yeah, but I definitely do notice, at least from interactions with girls and colleagues, guys have changed. Like they say, the street is hot. Like, yeah.
So why do you think that is so? Why do you think that streets... Okay, I mean, you told us you are a man of action. But, but why do you think?
As Pamela has been talking, I've been thinking. She gave the story of her grandparents. So I want to think back then, your dating pool was reserved to your village, unless you were privileged enough to be trading across different places. But now children as young as 10 have phones. So they're just used to so much variety of content. And this, let's face it, I used to work in SRHR, sexual reproductive health rights, and kids are having sex as early as 15. So you just need to you shouldn't hoodwink. It's happening. So yes, as they start to grow, they have so much variety because of what they've been exposed to. So you start to get, at least from the younger ones, I interact with my cousins, I shan't mention names, but when things happen for us that stress us, you'd be like, oh, I need to fight for this. For them, they're like, no, that's okay. I'll just jump on the next. Because, yeah, there's so much variety. There's too much stimulus.
I'll move to the next one.
Yes.
And I think that makes it easy to trade off. I would like to ask, do you think in the evolution of love, culture, religion, faith, do these things that we ascribe to or subscribe to,
The norms.
do they influence this evolution, or does it come independent, like just as sociology takes its course?
Okay, I definitely think they do. So if you're looking at the evolution of love, I'm not going back to my history. Now this is off head, so please don't misquote me. I'm just going back to the history we were taught in secondary. Our grandparents used to be polygamous, and they had their way of, there was like a cohesion, there was glue, it used to work. But with religion, some of these things have to go away. Polygamy and naturalism, the religions people were doing and all that had to go in favor of Christianity and all the other Western religions. So that simply means love is evolving. So now people are ascribing more to polygamy. There's actually a very big debate. Are we supposed to be polygamous or not? Because there's always the inherent thing, our parents used not to do this. This is forced. Yeah, but even you find people who are like, yes, I'm polygamous, but they have, when they die, find like that a line of 6 women coming. These are all your children. So,
Those who are monogamous. Who are monogamous?
monogamous, not polygamous. So I even say polygamous subconscious. Everybody. Okay, not everybody. Most people. But that's also coming from the religious aspect. So religion definitely did play a role in how we see love currently.
I want to take us off the theory and just like go into the
Practical.
personal experiences, right?
I wanted to talk about the religious and cultural bit of it and how it has affected
Even the societal norms
or
and
even the
family
societal norms and family. I'll start with the societal norms and family. I want us to agree that first of all, there is moral decadence in our generation, which has lost the societal norms. Yeah. So people no longer attach value to certain things. And this has also affected love, because love is an everyday thing that we live with. You find that back in the day, a child was a society responsibility, a community responsibility. That if I went somewhere and someone found me doing something, even if they do not know who my parents are, as long as I am caught in the wrong act, I would be disciplined and I would not report anywhere. If I left this village and I went to the next village, they would and I did something wrong, they will beat me. I won't even know the person who has done it. But so people would always...
It took a village to raise a child.
It took a village to raise a child. Now, it actually takes a parent to raise a child, which parents are not even available.
That's what I was going to say.
They are not present.
Not even being present.
They are not even raising us.
Yeah, they're just not present.
We are being raised by
exposure,
TVs, by these house helps who also have failed lifestyles, failed lives.
Wow.
They are the people that are raising us. So I want you to tell me, what kind of love am I going to give, or do I expect to receive? What have I learned?
As a young person,
as I am growing up,
getting into a relationship.
What have I been exposed to? You know, so it definitely...
we are gambling.
We are gambling.
We are gambling.
Thank you.
And that means it's very important to see the parents in love for the child.
But they don't even have the time for it.
That's true.
I left my husband home.
On a
and
Saturday.
I walked away. But usually, like on a random day, back in the day, the man would carry the wife along. Or the wife would be like, Mwami, perekera ako wana.
And the kids, what happens to the kids in that aspect?
Of course, they were, because it was an extended kind of setting.
The village takes on the responsibility.
Exactly.
I hear you. I see what you're saying.
You get?
Yeah.
So we don't even show affection to our kids because we are busy chasing money.
Survive.
Because we are busy in the bars. Because we are busy attending people's events. We have one event after the other.
You know, after party.
Exactly. Now, like when I was in school, probably your parent would drop you off at school. And you'd go having a chat in the morning. Van is aja.
That's true. You know, they come to as if take off the load, but they are causing some bit of...
So tell me when my son is going to have a conversation with me. When will I get to pick on my son's thought?
And to pay attention to the
and
friends,
to pay attention
how they're
to,
socializing.
Yes, to even their conversations, and I know what they're up to. We don't have that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are terribly building in our generation.
This is real shifting dynamics.
Very, very huge.
Is it
That's what we
our
call
generation
the
or the next one?
The wheels are turning.
The wheels are
Our
turning.
generation has partly partaken of it.
Yeah.
But the kids we are raising are probably going to
Yeah,
be worse. Like the things that are happening in our midst are going to be tripled when it comes to our children.
So when you talk about our children, that means this is digital, this is technology. Like, it's technology raising the kids, or like the nannies we leave them with, who we have not vetted or established that they have the values that we want to pass down onto our kids.
Because we don't even know the values we want.
How do you if you're to compare the digital romance among the youth and the traditional courtship. Hans was talking about how, like, back in that day, the exposure, your exposure, like, you kind of, your dating pool was just around, like, in the village or like in proximity to where you are, maybe the school you've gone to or the community you're living in. But now we have digital, like, we have dating apps, we have digital exposure. You have your girlfriend here or your boyfriend here, but you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, and everyone is like, you don't know who's sliding in your DMs.
You also have one
And
in
then you
Dubai.
have one. And then you have one
in Kampala,
physically.
one in
And then
Dubai.
you also are thinking interracial. Should I go interracial or should I be, So do you think, like, how do you think that's going to happen for us? Like, realistically? Is it doing more harm than good? Is it doing more good than harm? Is it relative?
Can we use it better?
It is doing more harm than good. Actually, terribly. Social media has totally distorted what love should actually be. It has created pseudo love.
Pseudo love. No, have you heard that before?
Pseudo love.
Pseudo
Pseudo
Say a
love, like
little more about
false love.
Yeah.
Something that is false, It is going to be very easy for me to actually text Hans and I'm like, hey love, how are you? And things like that when I don't even mean it.
That's true.
Because he's not even there to see me, to read the
to
body
see.
language, the
Can I
facial
cut you short just a
expression.
little bit on that point? I have like a story. So
Unpack.
yeah, when I was out some time back, I was dating someone, and they told me that if you are double clicking, that means you are liking someone's picture. If you're double clicking on someone's picture, a girl, moreover, that means you don't like me that much, And I felt so confused because I felt this is social media. I do not
It's not that
attach
deep.
any, it's not that deep. I do not attach any emotions. I mean, I spend a lot of time with you. I'm always with you. I mean, I'm physically present for you, but you feel jealousy because I've double tapped on someone's photo. So just to go back to your point, because it is distorting society because it has brought pseudo love, but it has also brought some sort of hatred in families. Oh, actually, it has led to breakups because I commented on someone's photo. Someone will chuck me.
Definitely, it
Yeah.
has.
So
That's how it starts. Because
how
we'll
it
be thinking
starts.
that's how it's.
But-
You're starting.
Because it is what
You're
they
laying
are
the
doing.
foundation.
Yes, you see when, what they are doing, because it's what they are doing. Like for them, they know that when I double tap or when I like someone's photo, definitely there is something that has been triggered in my mind. So for them, they think it is the starting point for that thing that has been triggered in their thoughts. And that is widely what is going on. You can definitely not slide into someone's DM unless it is something business related and what. But if it's casual, it is tending to that.
Hans, what do you say for those people that have found true love? I found my true love on IG, on Instagram.
I double tapped and she
And
got
I-
back to me.
Yes, and we
wow.
started, hi, how are you? And it grew
And happy
good.
ever after.
And yet the physical one I had was messing me up.
Now, for me, the person I know is Snapchat, which is even crazier because Snapchat is like wild, wild west. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's communication. You definitely will find somebody that you love if you communicate your intentions. But then also, it's a very crazy place. So it's a bit of both. You could find true love, but you could also not find true love. But me personally, I've not found love online. And I don't think I would go looking for love online. But it's possible.
It is. It's
Yeah,
possible.
It's very possible. Me, I have found love once online, and it was so crazy because it was just a simple song. It was Take All My Mind, and I was sharing. You remember that thing that was trending? You send photos and then you attach lyrics to it, and that way, I actually went into a relationship that lasted as long as 4 years, but it did not
Whoa.
last beyond that.
But 4 years is good
4
time.
years is
4
good
years
time.
is
People,
good
3
for
months we
our-
are done. 1 month.
Yeah, I was actually hoping this comes up.
What happened?
Yeah.
Like, okay, how did it end?
The reality of being with the person was not as good as the social media.
Now that's what I was
goes
going
back
to
to-
That
say.
is
goes
what
back
we
to
were
the pseudo
telling you,
love.
the
Yeah.
pseudo love. Like people portray what
Yeah.
they actually are not on social media.
Oh yeah.
There is.
When do I post myself crying?
I keep telling people, I keep telling people that owamtima omunafu, like don't believe in social media.
True.
Just slide and pass.
The
You
one with
get-
the weak heart, guys.
Exactly.
Chite.
I'm
Leave
going
it
to be
for-
seated
Cola.
here. I'm feeling bougie, and then I'm going to post on my group on my socials. I'm like, this is the life I live. Like someone is going to believe me.
True. Social
Nenga
media is
webuziba, I
misleading.
go to my kazigo.
And then you'll be there saying, my guy is not doing all these things for me. Can you imagine other people are living a posh,
Yeah.
pump,
You get it?
You're talking about my guy, and I've remembered it's the month of love.
Yeah.
There was a lot of heartbreaks this month.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This year particularly, or
because I
Some
mean,
people in good love
do you know the
can't
pressure
relate.
the pressure that comes with social media?
That is pseudo love. Trust
know?
me. Because you should be able to understand your person, understand their love language.
True.
So you shouldn't even expect flowers or like depending on who your person is.
Chogero. I was
know?
like, guys.
Like for me, my husband, he will just text and it's like Happy Valentine's.
And you are okay with that?
Yes, I am because I understand who he is. I understand his love language.
So I'm going to ask for the youth out there, how did you get there?
How did I get where?
yeah,
To the place where you understand your husband and you know that he's not pressured by what is going around him. This is who he is.
And also, you are not pressured
Yeah.
by it as a recipient.
First of all, for me, I think differently from the generation that I am living in, from the millennials. Yeah, I would want to say that because, like I told you, I am in for love. I am all for love, and it is what I am preaching. And you're not going to find so many people who are preaching the same language that I am preaching. When I was ready to settle, I told my friends, I'm like, you know what, you guys, I'm not going to date a man for a year to be married to him. You know, back in the day, our parents or our great grandparents, the generations before, they would, you know, a man would know, like, not even would love you. They would be like, family ya gundi, you know, has a good girl. The father of the boy would go and talk to the father of the girl. It's like, I want to marry in your home. If the father of the girl is also convinced, the arrangements would start. And then you would literally see your husband, like on a market day when they are going to do shopping for you. And you would even be escorted by someone. So you're not even going to have a conversation.
Or they
that
first
is
send you a handkerchief with a flower.
intimacy. No, that was another generation. That is how love kept evolving. Now that is the generation of our parents.
Yeah.
So then you would be married off. And those people would stay. Those marriages would stick.
Okay.
Then came the generation of our parents. For me, so, and then, you know, they would give handkerchiefs and, you know, things like that, buy you knickers and, you know, in that kind of love. And their marriages are sticking. When you look at, like, our parents' ages and stuff, their marriages are failing of recent, and you find someone is divorcing after 25 years, after 30 years, because they have been influenced by the millennial love. You find my father is running after a 23-year-old, and she totally twists his head. That is how the marriages are now failing of our parents. And slightly,
Should the girl take the blame?
the girl shouldn't take the blame. The both of them should take the blame. Why are you having cross-generational relationship? What are you doing with a man who is like 20 years your senior? That is why I was telling you of the moral decadence. Nti abana tebachatya. Like bachitomera butomezi, they go in for anything because they have not been raised with values. They have not been raised with morals. Because like tebakuzibwa wabula bakuze bukuzi.
So doesn't that mean we are supposed to be blaming the family, not the girl?
Yeah, because no, thank you so much. Because I wanted to ask now Hans and Pam Love or Love Doctor in both your contexts. Do you think that family plays a big role in our love dynamics, both currently and in the past? And do currently as youth, do we still consider family approval of our partners or our romantic partner choices as a big thing?
I'd love to hear from Hans first on this particular one.
You get my question? Like,
Yes.
do we still, does it matter, or do we still have to live with the consequences of family choices?
Noah, again, I'm going to shock you.
Today you came to shock Noah.
Like,
Noah,
So-
you unpack.
please, go ahead.
In the past, definitely family had a massive role to play. Like Pamela said, the marriages were arranged, but also it was more of a strategic thing. By marrying into a specific family, it was either financial or to strengthen certain ties, power, play, and all that. It still does happen with some families now, but I think people are now extremely liberal. But when I'm to think about our current generation, speaking for myself, my family is extremely lax, and for my partner, I don't think they are as lax as mine, but they are. So it allows us to do things at a specific pace in the way that we want to do things. It's like the concentration is on us, the choices are ours to make, and family comes in to play a supporting role. Nobody is sort of edging you on that you should be married by now, though, yeah, we are starting to near those ages, so the questions are popping up. But when are you getting married? Like, yeah, those questions are definitely starting to pop up. But there's like no pressure on it at all. It's like, do it when you still have time, when you still have the energy and you still have the love. I don't know where the love is going. But yeah, everybody is
on the wheels.
when you're still young, do it.
The
And,
wheels are turning.
just for some background, I've been dating my partner for 5 years now, and we're still going strong. Everyone is
I
always
want to
like,
clap for you, but
Oh, clap,
okay.
please. It's yeah.
it's-
I on that very point, I
Yeah.
want to ask that: do you think that if we date long now, is it still a family? Like, is it still resulting from the families that brought us up and the family values? Like, or we don't have family values that influence us? Because I've met guys who have told me, "How, if my father was still alive, I would be married by now. But but my father died, so now the family. Like, yes, my mom is doing well, but like I can easily get away with it.
Yeah.
But now there is the ones of a wafi. 2 years, it's done. Then there is the ones of it's a bit chill. Both families are chill. So do you think it's family, or do you think us as young people, we are coming from such families, but us as us, we are acting like we are not bothered, like we are delulu. We are deluding ourselves
Solulu.
to the families. Yeah, yes, we've decided to know that delusion is the solution. So us, we know the families we are coming from, but we are like, you know what, family, it's okay to take a body, family aside, and then us. What is us?
Interesting that you mentioned that. My partner is exactly what you mentioned. My father, if my father was still alive, I would be married, definitely. But because of the country we're in, and of course being African, family plays a massive role here, like it or not. Even the ones who are Delulu, it's time. Time is
Context,
coming. Yeah,
yeah.
you come, and your family will tell you need to get married now. Sometimes they even go a further step to be like, we want you in this particular tribe, this particular social standing. So family definitely plays a role, and also because the marriages and the weddings are sort of communally organized, so they are going to contribute heavily to your wedding and your family, so they'll have a say because they have a lot of financial weight in the decisions you're making.
Do you think if they didn't have to contribute, if you didn't have this entire Ugandan thing going on, the communal family thing of like there is an
Yeah.
introduction or a kuhinjira, kuanjula, then we have we do like 3 functions, right? We do
Which
the
is
vows in
expensive,
church
by
and the
the way.
nikah for Muslims,
Very
and then those are vows.
expensive
That's the
stuff.
actual one. Then we do the traditional one, the kuanjula, kuhinjira, gukwa, like Then we do the wedding, the white wedding.
Yeah.
Same thing, different cultures, but same thing for us Ugandans. We do 3 4 fully fledged events. Do you think if people who are not contributing to these functions, they wouldn't be entitled to have an opinion to your love or to your romance or whatever you choose to call it.
Yes, I have colleagues I work with younger than me, but these people are married, and I learned the whole thing from them. Whenever they kept saying partner, I'm like, what does that mean? I kept wondering, business partner. They don't say wife or, but these people are younger than us. 25 married, 26 married for like 2-3 years. But it's because now for them family does not in any way influence their decisions they are going to make with something that should be so big in your life. By the time you decide to get married, it is going to affect you in ways you can imagine and can't imagine. So if it's an external force advising you and pushing you to make some of these decisions, it needs to be something that you're ready for. So I do like that nowadays there are some families that are lax. They would give you the choice, but the choice is not really there. They're like, yeah, you can marry for love, but definitely it's from this direction. But yeah.
I mean, I think I'm a rebel.
It's okay.
Because my family particularly, they will ask you, when are you getting married? I think you are old enough to marry. So the pressure is there. And at one point, I received a photo from someone in my family.
How do you see?
and the comment was, the caption was, "Hey Noah, what do you think about this girl?"
They've started arranging for you.
And I was like,
Pressure.
"Are you serious? I don't know that person."
Exactly.
You know, even if I was to date
Try.
this person,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I don't
I
know
did
you.
not choose this person, and this is why I want to go to Palm Love. Me personally, I feel like my family interfering in my love life. I mean, when it comes to choosing, at least, right? I feel like that's too much guts. You know?
Too much invasion in your
I
privacy.
feel like that is actually the Lulu. Yeah.
Noah, are you sure about that? They say love is blind.
No.
Do you
but-
think that what if your family feels like they need to see what I defect? Like, what is love blind right now, or is he actually looking at the right
Why are
love?
they testing me? Why are they testing me?
Yeah, they don't
like
know
that?
what Noah wants.
Exactly. So, Pam,
I wanted to ask Hans,
Yeah.
why would you date someone for 5 years before you actually commit?
That's a very good question. So by the time, I'll first give you some history. So the concept of time is, again,
Hans, why would you, like, honestly date someone for 5 years? Like, why would you put the person on hold? I would call it hold. For 5 years.
okay, that's actually a question I expected. Something that I've noticed all the times that I've been in relationships, they've been relatively long. So I think for me that speaks to stability. Like, but then also I'm not like quite old to be saying I've dated for quite a while. And with the person I'm currently with, we met when we were a bit younger. I think we were just fresh from school. And then there's so many things that happened with life that I cannot speak that were going on with her. Very traumatic events, and anybody going through them cannot want to start a family or anything. Like, there's moments she would not be present physically and mentally, actually, not present. And it was just a very traumatic thing to go through. So I would just want to say life. But we are on the right track. Maybe this year we'll be joining. Yeah, but I want to believe the trials, those were tests that life was putting us through, the ones that were delaying us mostly. And yeah, they are pretty much resolved. There's no fire coming off them anymore, so we should be now ready to concentrate on our lives. And I'm quite excited for that part of life too.
well,
Is
Hans,
Pam Love convinced?
Well, it's not about being convinced. I just wanted to understand, pick on his thought.
Yeah.
yeah, thank
for
you.
the reason. I want to know why he was doing that. Because people
Why
have
I
different
am doing this.
reasons. You know? Yeah. So it is very okay. It is absolutely okay for him to do what he is doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Pam Love. Hans is not alone. We are many. But yeah, thank you very much, Hans. With that, we'll head into our break and we'll be back after this.
Looking for high-quality audio production? Whether you're a podcaster, musician, or filmmaker, Malika Studios brings innovation, creativity, and originality to every project. From professional recording and mixing to top-tier sound design, we ensure clarity and impact in every sound. And now, we're expanding knowledge with Malika Audio School. Learn audio production, sound design, and music composition, all online, anytime, anywhere. Quality, authenticity, excellence. That's Malika Studios. Let's create something original. Visit www.malikastudios.com or contact +256 756 150 993 to book your session today. Malika Studios, illuminating sound.
You're most welcome. We are back from our break and we are getting into the second session of our podcast. Youth on the wheels. We keep the wheels turning and the conversations flowing. And yes, we are with our awesome guests today talking about love in this month of love. One of them was birthed in this month.
And she's called Love.
Another one is a believer in love. Kwegamba, Chiriwano, love is not in the air, it's in the house. So, as we dive into the second session, my question goes to Hans. And I think the Love Doctor will, if the Love Doctor has anything to say, to contribute, I also welcome her submission. So we ended on the bit when Hans was speaking about why he chose to, why he's been dating for this long. And why he's not committed or, yet married. He is committed in his opinion. Because he's guys, by the way, for me, if someone is in a relationship for more than a year,
it's a committed relationship.
It's committed. And now, now I've even evolved. I'm no longer considering long relationships as, oh my God. I am like, what is the quality of the relationship? Because for me, it's now quantity with the quality. It's no longer, we have been in this relationship for 5 years and 10 years and still counting. I'm like, what's the quality? Is it healthy? So because today our topic is love.
Now you speak from a very informed point of view.
Because we've asked the young people, we've been misguided. We need to know if those our grandparents' relationships lasted, were they healthy? Like, were they happy?
You speak
or
were
they just, guys, we have to do this. We are stuck in this, so we just have to do this. So it brings me to our other question, the social pressure. The social pressure to conform to relationship norms.
Yeah.
How do youth experience societal pressures in romantic relationships today versus past generations? And also the social pressure to marry young, to have children, or vis-a-vis the traditional expectations. Yeah. And also these days we have personal growth, career growth. Sometimes someone feels like, I don't know if I can do marriage or do a wedding right now, yet I still have where I see myself in my career or my personal growth. Or a girl can look at it like, do I want to give birth at 20? I want to do this 5 years or 6 years to first do this, then think of kids or think of marriage. How do you, how do you navigate that?
I cannot speak so much to how our parents used to do it and all. But they definitely married young. I recently came across my great-grandfather's photos, and he married at 16, I think. And it was arranged. And these four were together for 90 plus years. But occasionally he would let something loose that, you used to let, I checked myself. I won't say that. He would let things
I saw you checking yourself.
Yeah, I just checked myself. So they seemed happy, and we are here because of them. So, yeah, probably some things definitely worked there. But when I am to think about what's currently happening, for me personally, it's a thing of timing. I met this person when we were younger. Of course, resources are not as many as they should to enable you to do a massive wedding. Even if it's a small wedding, you don't really have money at 24, 25. So what are you doing?
So these society pressures, how...
I actually need to ask Hans a question.
Okay.
Because me
I don't know if you had
personally.
answered the society pressure thing.
Oh no, as I was coming to it.
Okay. Please
So,
let me hold my
I
thought.
don't-
Let me
have
hold
it.
my thought.
I also
Let me
just
hold
want
my
to. I
thought.
also just want to categorically state that I do not live by society's norms. I mean, I work from home. On a Monday, I'm in shorts. My friends tell me, "Why you do it?" So I do not conform so much to what society holds, but I do follow the he/she rules. Yes, those ones I still follow. So for me, the reason why it took me a bit longer, we met at a younger age, and I do not have so much pressure on me to do it. So I met this person that I really love, and they really, really, really compliment me. The bounds that I've achieved, the things I've achieved with this person, I don't think I would have achieved with anybody else. So she really adds so much to me. But like I mentioned earlier, there's things that were happening with us and just couldn't enable us to do that. But I want to acknowledge that that pressure exists. I really find people 24, 25, 26 getting married. There's people we went to school with. We've not yet clocked 30 years, but they are married, yes. A few of them are not anymore. But the question always is, did you have enough time to know this person? Was it societal? With my partner, there's questions that have come up and we speak because we do speak about our future quite a lot. And these questions have come up, and she also acknowledges that, let's do things for us because we're doing quite a lot. There's so many joint things we're doing, and that's again not an excuse why we are not married. But yeah, and I want to think there's no time limit to it. Like I said, the concept of time is
Very good on you.
yeah, it varies from person to person. So for me, 5 years could be not short. For someone else, it could be such a lifetime. So it varies from person to person. But I'm not saying 5 years is not short. External factors at play. Context is very important here.
Yeah.
I wanted
had
I
a
wanted to
question.
ask him because he mentioned that there are factors and finance was one of them
Yeah.
at the moment. What do you think about holding a traditional wedding and then having to do a Western wedding?
All the weddings
All the
the
weddings,
weddings.
basically.
in all cultures.
Well, for me personally, again, with my partner, we do have these conversations quite a lot. And I thank God that we think quite alike. We are not pro the massive weddings. They are very expensive. Honestly, me personally, I don't think I would be comfortable feeding 90 people, spending 90 mil, and then I would have rather thrown that money in a unit trust or something. Like I would
Or
not
you
be
pay the
comfortable.
loan after.
No, like I don't want to go in debt to feed people and like have very beautiful photos and the
Prove
next
a
4
point.
years. Yeah, next 4 years we are just struggling. I don't want to. I've seen people do that and it's horrible. BBC did a documentary on it and these guys were just really suffering. So for me personally, we've had these conversations with her and finance was a massive factor. We want to do something small. This is with inspiration from COVID. COVID forced us to have micro weddings, 30 people max. So if it happened, it can surely happen. And yeah, and for us, that's the direction we're going to take. Have a small wedding, have the people that love us genuinely, not our mom's friends and family she met 4 years ago just to prove that my son, my daughter is now getting married, all of you should come. So we're doing things for us. So even if we have a wedding of 10 people and then you spend the rest of the money on a honeymoon to better bond and like go, that's for us the direction we're going. Doing things for us.
A society pressure Z.
No, now for us we
Zero.
yeah,
Zero, yes.
the pressure is there, yes, but no,
But you're not conforming.
we are not really.
I actually want to put this same question I put to him, to our listeners in the comment section.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Western wedding and also holding the traditional wedding
And the religious wedding.
and the religious wedding? What are your thoughts around that? We'll be very glad, and we can keep it going on
I would
our
actually like
on the
to
comments,
hear.
actually.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what Pam says about that.
Societal pressure is a factor that we cannot just pretend like it's not there. It's not something that we can kick out. Like Hans said, that like, there is bit of it, but how you conform to it is the most important. For me, it's both sides of it. There are things that I will not conform to, And there are things that I would definitely bend for. Yeah. And all these are going to be coming from society pressure. Like when I was getting married, my husband was arrested like a week and a half to the wedding. And he was taken to Rizira. And everyone was telling me, no, Pam, this guy is a crook, and you know what? And I told you, for me, when it's like a month is enough for me to know someone that I'm going to settle with. And I stuck with my husband. And I told them, agenda kuva Ruzira, and we are going to walk into the church, tukore embaga. It created a lot of family rift, but eventually we are here.
9 years down the road and still counting.
Oh yes, with two very handsome boys.
Nice.
Wow.
So you try to imagine
With
if I
one
had,
called Hans.
yeah.
Oh, that's
You
very
try to
interesting.
imagine if I had conformed to the pressure. And then, of course, the walking out or the not walking out, for me, I like, no, I was asking, is love enough? Of course not. Like, when you decide to walk into a marriage, there is logic. Actually, love is just like 30% of the content, really. You walk in with so much logic. You know?
Did you walk in, or do people generally walk in with more
I
logic?
would want to imagine that should be.
People don't.
Love is not enough. You cannot walk into a marriage with, and all you're carrying with you is love.
But love conquers all.
No,
You know,
that is in the books. But
heals
in the
world.
movies.
yeah, in the movies.
Is that the pseudo love we are talking about?
Exactly. Now, like, I was talking about finances and things like that. And when I was getting married to my husband, he was not working. I was working. But I was not even earning enough for us, you know? But I believed in him. And I knew something would come up. And I fed him for a year. I housed him for a year. Like, I took over the responsibility. In between, a kid came through. And, you know, things like that. But, you know, life got better
Yeah.
thereafter. But, and then for me on my wedding, I had 100 people. And my father cast and I told Daddy, this is what we are doing because it is what we can afford. Tetugenda kusoloza sente z'embaga.
That's true. That's very nice.
Let me tell you, we did that in 2016. Before even people thought COVID would come through.
Yeah.
And my father had thrown a giveaway and 600 people had attended.
Wow.
On a Friday. And here I'm telling him, ku Saturday, tugenda mu wedding, and we are going to be 100 people. Family and friends and nebigenderako. And all the service providers. We are married.
9 years down the road, you're married.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not about societal pressure. There are days when it definitely, and you yield to it. But I always take the societal pressure from the good perspective. When there is something that is nice, I'm going to pick out of it. But if it's not conforming to my thoughts and my standards, I can't.
Wow, I like that. And Hans and Pam Love, I like that we are having very diverse contexts, and of course these contexts have informed your choices in, you know, this love thing, the youth, the romance, the shifting dynamics in love across generations, the topic that we are discussing today. And I want to ask, I think, my second last question. Do you think premarital counseling or therapy is something that is important in love? Pam, for you who's already married, and also for Hans who's been in a long-term relationship, is this something you did before you got married? Is this something that you think you have done and has helped, or it has not helped? Do you think it existed in our communities as Ugandans back in the day, and we just didn't know it was named therapy? And is it something you believe should happen more in our current love situationships or situations?
Back in the day, when a girl was going to get married, your father would send you over to your auntie's place. Tell
Senga.
you, genda okyalireko senga. That is premarital counseling. So whatever you do there, whatever you talk there would be premarital counseling. And you're asking, is this still relevant?
Yes, I'm asking.
Absolutely it is. Be it church, be it the modern, the conventional one, be it the rudimentary one. It was absolutely, and it is absolutely relevant.
Why?
Because you're walking into something that you have no idea about. You have been fed with so much information, but we are not sure whether this information is right or wrong. You've been on these social media groups, Mama Tendo, Sisterhood, and stuff like that. And these ladies are telling you, and they are telling you, when a man cheats, funayo panado. But these are not the values of marriage. But we are picking on them, like we are getting them. And if we don't get the real premarital counseling, we are going to walk with these things into the marriages.
Mindsets.
With this mindset into the marriages. So we need the right information and premarital counseling.
I'm asking for the youth, where do we get this?
Social media.
Very good question.
No, I'm asking the one that you're talking about.
Yes, where do you, we have relatives. We have relatives. We have churches. If you want to go the legal way, that is why I was telling Hawa that for me, in my understanding, marriage should be the legally binding one. You're going to get it from the mosque. I am sure how in the mosque they offer premarital counseling. If I'm going to walk into Church of Uganda or into the Catholic Church, there's definitely going to be premarital counseling. And it's a prerequisite, prerequisition. You must do it before you actually walk into the marriage. Yeah. And there is time stipulated for it. Togenda kuyingira mu church and you're like, nze njagala kungatta like maybe next month, tebajja kugatta. You're going to give a notice of like 4 to 6 months. Bakulange, ochageera. Bakole background check, bakole bichi, they prepare you. Yeah. They are teaching you the things, the right things that you don't know about because you've not been there. And they are very important. They prepare you. They will teach you patience, they will teach you perseverance, they will teach you forgiveness, they will teach you. But in our social media counseling sessions, ebintu ebyo tebiriyo. They are not there. They are not in for perseverance. They are not in for oshagera. So for me, I am rooting for premarital counseling. Whether you want to go to a counselor, a professional counselor, whether you want to do it in your way, I am in for it. Because you know when you're going to do something wrong in the marriage, ojukira senga kye yakugamba. And the real singers of the marriage, they prepare you. Takugamba nti wekigana nguva yagamba era back in the day when someone would omukyala nafuna obutakanya nani ne bawe, the man would first send you to your senga, would take you to your auntie. Oshegera.
As you're speaking, you are emphasizing how girls used to go to sengas. Did the boys ever go to their kojas for mentorship or counseling, or it was only for girls?
They did not have to go to their kojas, but they were taught.
Who was in charge of the boys? Like, I'm trying to see if like there was a balance back in the day of like ensuring that the girls are trained or like supported and facilitated through the institution they're entering, that you're saying we don't know, and then also boys were also facilitated.
It was there. I think the girls were getting more than the boys, but the boys were also cancelled.
So historically?
Yeah, your parents would probably send you to their friend, or when they know so-and-so is going to get married, your father's friend would come and pick on you, or would have an evening with you at home. It was not structured for the boys, but they were always told what to do. They were told what to expect. And because they were growing up in homes, conventional homes, they were seeing what their parents were doing, what their fathers were doing. And the bad habits were discouraged in one way or the other. you know. And men were brought up with this thing of umusajja yakola amaka. So you walked in knowing that I am going to make this home. Back in the day, men never used to beat their wives, by the way. From me, where I come from. Because if a man beat the wife, they would call a village meeting.
Yeah, I think,
and they would beat you.
I think that's a cultural thing because
I'm telling you.
Where you come from is different.
For Jenakulida, me from where I came from, a man would never beat a woman. Because they would punish you severely for it. And you'd be punished by the society.
So do they still do it today? Because all culture has moved on from that.
Things have changed, but also the men now, they fear to do it because the law.
But now the consequences are the men are being beaten. Because I was watching news recently and the men in Rukunjiri were crying. They were being beaten and they could not report to police.
Because first of all, they fear.
Yeah.
They fear to be ashamed and embarrassed. So the men have become meek because they fear the law.
Do you, as Hans comes in, Pam, I have another question for you, because now I wanted to ask you whether these concepts have been, like the researcher now is going to tell us, have been revised, like have their effects, or has the impact of these norms that were practiced regarding, counseling, has their impact been assessed? Has it been evaluated? And have we seen like pros and cons of it, or we are just going to take it on as it came, like as the full force that it came?
So for me, I do not have any experience with that version of premarital counseling. However, I have seen it, excuse me, in a couple of videos, and it does work. Because the problem is with most people entering marriages, people are broken, people are not healed. As a generation, everybody is one way or another suffering through things, and sadly, communication and speaking out is not so well received, like everybody is mentioning. So you're going to find cases where someone is having pent-up issues from childhood, so they're bringing them to a marriage, and then they don't go for counseling to sort themselves. Then they bring these things onto somebody else, bring children into the mix, and just carry on a system and a perpetual cycle of like toxicity. Personally, me and my partner do counseling. It's not for marriage, it's just to help us be better individuals to ourselves. It's working, it's amazing. The very first time I told my friends I go for counseling, they were like, hey, what happened to the bottle of Nile? Like, you just drank Nile, and like, but talking is much better.
Yeah.
So for me, like, counseling works.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. So as we conclude this episode, I would like to pose another question. I would like for us to speculate on the future of love, because we've talked about so many things, and we've talked about a lot of bad things that are happening right now, and they're here. They're not good. Yeah, they're good ones, but
a lot of good
and
a lot of bad.
So we are here, and I want to put this to both of you. What do you think is the future of love?
Personally, for me, when I look at the current generation, it's really scary because of the exposure that's out there. You hear stories of things kids are doing and like, wow, even me, I've not yet done that, but that's crazy. I don't think I want to do it, but wow. It's a bit scary, but something that you need to bear in mind is you cannot control people's actions. The best thing you can do is just be a better version of yourself and hope to receive some good in it. And maybe that's how we should also raise our children. But while it's scary, it's also good. There's always new things coming up and resources to enable us to do some of these things. So a bit of mixed emotions with that. But me, I'm very excited for my love. I don't know about
for you, your love will work.
It will work.
Mine
The
is
future
great.
is bright.
For me, like, the economy is it's just nice. For other people, it's a bit scary on the streets, like I keep saying. But
Streets are cold.
That's why you stay
yeah,
home.
the streets are hot, but yeah, it's both good and bad. Good stuff, though.
Yeah, for me, I
Yes,
think the future of love is promising. It's promising with youth on the wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is promising. I think we are going to educate our kids, our siblings. I think it's promising now that we are being aware of the bad things that are happening. We are going to fast track it and bring it back to what it should be. We are going to turn it around, and that is why I preach love for me, like the conventional love. Because it's what I know. So for me, it's promising. The future of love is very promising. We just need to take it back to what it should be. And I'm sure people would appreciate it. Just like they slipped off a little bit, they can get back on track.
Yeah, communication is very...
And they can reverse.
Yes, like we can reverse the wheels of...
Or we can first step on the brakes and then sort what is going wrong.
We
comes
have
from
already
communication,
noted.
yeah.
You have stepped on the brakes.
Yeah.
You have seen the gap.
Yeah.
And now we are turning back the wheels to what it should be. Yeah.
I love
for
that.
me, it's promising. I cannot give up on love. I keep telling my friends, siva kulava. Oh yes, she told me.
For me on my end, for me,
So for
if
me,
this one refuses now, concentrate on work.
No,
It's not
But it can't
refusing.
refuse.
yeah, for me, siva
It's not
kulava.
refused.
No one needs to hear these things.
Why you say? I mean, how?
It's
By the way,
promising.
for our listeners, let's get Howard's view on the future of love.
How?
No, is this direct?
I'm putting you on a spot.
Yeah, I know why you're putting me on that spot. Me, I believe in love.
Howard, you believe in love, eh?
Yes.
Are you in love?
I believe in love, and I'm so happy that we had our guests today to speak about love across generations and, the youth romance and the shifting dynamics of love. I also believe that we are going to be lovers in future with the people we shall be in love with.
Are they there?
Yeah, thank you for
needs to be
tuning
the
in, our
first.
listeners. We are turning the wheels around and we are turning the wheel of love back to where it's supposed to be, to the roots. Until next time, it's Noah and Hawa, Youth on the Wheels. Ciao.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe to our podcast, share with a friend, and follow us on social media to stay updated on new episodes and behind-the-scenes insights. Until next time, keep the wheels turning and the conversations flowing.